Hello, my friends. Welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. This is Jennifer. Guys, I finished my sewing machine covers. I'm so excited to talk about this. This is literally all I'm showing you today. It was a journey and I'm delighted that they're done. That makes it sound like it was work, and it really wasn't. The hardest part of this whole process was quilting 3.5 yards with the fabric. That was it. That was the hardest part, and that was something I chose to do. I really wanted to have beautiful scrunchy sewing machine covers. This is Wilmington Essentials Bubble Up. This is the same fabric that's on my ironing station that I created a couple of years ago, and I bought a little extra because I want to cover my small ironing board with that as well. I have a travel one, so I'm going to recover it. It's had the same thing on it for like a decade and it's time. Also, I wanted a little extra in case one of these guys ended up going away or getting upgraded. I have enough so that I can make another cover if I need to. I want to talk you guys through the process really quickly, and then I'll show you each cover individually. So I did not use a pattern for this. I did not use a tutorial for this. I made all of these kind of like a bag. I literally went through and I just measured the machines. I took the longest across the front, the longest across the side. So like if there was a bump or something, that was the widest part. And then I made basically cubes with an open side. I quilted the whole thing first. As I said, I serged off the edges of that quilted fabric, and then I washed it because I wanted it to shrink and I wanted it to crinkle, and I also wanted to be able to wash these later without them shrinking and being too small for the sewing machines. So I serged around both selvage edges and both ends. I just serged off the extra backing fabric, and that's actually put away in my stash already because I had a few inches on each end from loading it on my frame. The next step, after I measured, I don't know if you can see, there are 4 machines. After I measured all 4 of these, I turned those into graph paper. So I literally just, a square is 3 inches, and I turned them into a graph paper map. This right here, this is the width of fabric, and this was longer, and then I just cut it off because I was trying to figure out how much fabric I would need. So each one of these is a yard, you can see that. The red numbers are with seam allowance because when I first wrote it on here, I didn't do seam allowance, and I just left 3 inches between each section. Well, it shrank up enough that I didn't have a lot left over. So when I cut out all my pieces, I followed that map. I started at the top and I worked my way down, and this is all that was left from the quilted fabric. This is the biggest piece, and then the rest are quite small. These are the triangles from my embroidery machine, and then I have a few little scraps. That's it. That's all that I had left. I'm very glad that I gave myself extra. You can see on the map that I left. This is a good chunk of fabric here. That's that long piece you saw. I did not have much waste, and the plan worked. Plans don't always work. Could have gone sideways, could have had poor math, but it worked really well. So quick recap. I measured everything. I made a map. I quilted the amount of fabric I would needed front and back. It's the same fabric front and back. And then I used my map and I cut out the pieces I needed from the fabric. Starting at the top, I literally just cut all of these, cut all of these, cut all of these. I put those aside, and then I serged around each piece. So every one of these has 3 pieces. There's a front, a back, and then a long center piece. I serged around all of them so that there would be no unraveling. This is my pinch hitter, really quickly. This is my pinch hitter. My Juki is not doing well. It's actually right behind me right here. But this is my Singer 301 that my grandma gave me a very long time ago, and that's what I'm using right now. And if you have a Singer 301, this is my Juki table. I just propped this up, and it fits almost perfectly. There's like a little, maybe a 1/4 inch gap right there, but it fits pretty well. So anyway, back to sewing machine covers. I matched the centers, found the corners and measured end and marked 1/2 inch on both sides because that's how much seam allowance I did. And then I sewed the whole long side. I did pin because I wanted to make sure it was correct. And then I went back, I decided they were a little droopy, so I went back and I sewed down the seam allowance so that it would just add a little structure. And as you can see, I just hemmed these. I had originally thought I might bind them, but I think there's enough going on. This is busy fabric, so I just decided to go ahead and just hem them. And I had a couple of little happy accidents where I had some accidental fabric matching, not on purpose at all. It didn't happen everywhere, obviously, but I had it happen a couple of times, including on this one. So this is the Singer 301. This one is intended to go all the way down on, so it doesn't fit quite right on this because this is not how this machine is usually used. It's just a substitute right now while I wait to get my Juki fixed. So Singer 301, and then right next to this is my Juki. So it's under there. These three are made pretty much exactly the same. They're just different sizes. This is my serger cover. That was my worst cover of the ones that came with the machine. It was paper thin. It was made for a much bigger serger. I don't know why. I guess maybe Baby Lock just makes one size cover and they shove it in with every serger because it doesn't fit the serger at all. So this one obviously fits much better. My embroidery machine was definitely the most complicated. It didn't take that much longer, but it is a weird shape. And I discovered during the process that I had traced the cover that it came with because it fit quite well. I had traced it and measured it and used that as a template. And then I realized that this end of the machine is much narrower than that end of the machine because that's the end that the hoop goes on. So I actually put a pleat on that end. So this end being the right side of the machine, I put a pleat there so that I can put it over, like I keep scissors and other things there, and it has a little give, but it just fits a little better. So you can see it looks like a truck. So it's got like its little nose there, and there's the back. But again, same exact thing. I did the same way as I did the other ones where it is sewn together. I stitched down the seam allowance, hemmed it, easy peasy. So probably the last thing I want to say about this project is that if you want to make a sewing machine cover, just do it. Just do it. Pick some yardage, pick something you like. It doesn't have to be quilted. It can be quilted, but it's not super complicated if you don't want to figure it out yourself. There are lots of tutorials out there, but just look how cheerful and beautiful having these in here looks. It's added so much. Normally this machine will be here and this machine lives on a little shelf over there. So there won't be quite as many machines on my table, but they make me so happy. They make me so happy. And this is just one of my favorite fabrics that I've ever bought. I've used it for all kinds of things. And I'm sitting here staring at my phone, which is what I'm recording with, and looking at my beautiful, beautiful sewing machine covers. Guys, I've enjoyed the heck out of this. I'm so glad they're done. I'm sure you'll see them in the background of videos and photos and all kinds of stuff. Thank you for sticking with me while I explain this process poorly, maybe. I don't know. If you have questions, let me know. I'm always happy to answer questions. I will get back to my Raggedy Rescue and I will get back to other projects now that this is done. I really wanted to finish this. I think this week is probably going to be a lot more charity quilting because I'm gearing up for a visit with Jules, which is not too far away. And I want to make sure I have as many of those quilted and ready to donate to Project Linus in Albuquerque as I possibly can. So that will probably be next week. I cannot wait to see everyone's swaps. You have, as of today, let me check the calendar. It is 2 weeks and 2 days until our shipping date starts for our swap. And from that date, we have a week to ship. So anytime in that week you can ship. I just want everyone to ship at the same time so we're all kind of receiving around the same time. So you guys, I cannot wait to see your swaps. Mine is almost done. I have one more thing to do and it will be finished. And yeah, you guys have the best week and I will see you next week. Bye.